Good morning. It's about 7 a.m. right now on Friday, December 10th, I think it is. Um, Working from home during COVID, the days get all mixed up for me, so it's always an effort to remember which day of the week it happens to be. But here I am again. I have an update for you. It's more of a good news, bad news thing for two separate items. But the good news is I finally got the labs back after my 3 month checkup when I started doing this on September 1st. So I think I got the blood test on December 1st. And that actually put me 90 days into medication to try to help my blood sugars, try to help my cholesterol, my triglycerides, everything else to get more moderated. Quick recap, I remember going for my physical on around September 1st. And the reason why I had done so actually was more monetary. We had certain rewards available to me during during the year if I got some preventative things done medically to help my body. And my insurance company actually would give me like $250 if I met some certain requirements during the year, like getting a physical, having low blood pressure, things like that. My wife actually had the same thing. In fact, she wasn't going for it. She just happened to get checkups and whatnot and succeeded. So this year, insurance was able to give us $500 into one of those health saving plans, which comes in handy because if you have medical expenses and you actually have one of these like HSA things, you can use that towards paying for it. So it does end up being free money. And all I had to do was just make sure I'm healthy. And the insurance companies have a tendency to benefit on this as well, due to the fact that if I'm monitoring and keeping a healthy body in some ways, that they'll not need to pay for doctors or pay out claims or whatever it might happen to be, so they get to save money. Then its insurance premiums just become profit because the body is doing well and you're doing whatever you can to regulate it. But in any event, I'd gotten that physical done in early September, and the labs came back and it was horrible. I think I was at the highest I ever was in weight. It was just a wake up call for how my life shouldn't be lived when it comes to health and physical body and that kind of thing. So when I got the original labs, they put me on cholesterol medication because some of my numbers were really high. You know, cholesterol, the good stuff was too low, the bad stuff was too high, and the really bad stuff was really high. On top of that, the weight I started in at, which was 282, grossly obese, I think is kind of what it comes out to when they put a word to that kind of range. So I made changes to my life. And in those changes, I started really concentrating on what I put in my body and tried to do something on the output and took the medication. I was taking my vitamins religiously as well. Now I'm trying to get things fixed. Now I was successful in the first 2 months. So by the end of October, in losing the first 20 pounds. I think because it was so higher than usual, my body weight, that first 20 was easy to come off. And then I slowly got out the next little bit more and dropped me down to 250s. Unfortunately, I only saw that one day, and I haven't been back since. So now we're talking a little bit more than 3 months into it. I've been 4 to 6 weeks of still hovering in this low 260s. So I'm trying to do this, talk to you, hear myself talk to try to get me back on track. I need to just do more, do more, do more. But got that 3 month blood work. That's where they kind of say, hey, how has the medication and my lifestyle change actually affected how my body is? The numbers were really good. I'm very happy, very promising. The only thing I have to do now is find out how much of it is because I have to take this medication every day, about twice a day, versus lifestyle change means I don't even have to do this any longer through the pharmacy. Now, I'm probably going to credit the medication a lot more than my efforts because some of these numbers got really good really fast. So I want to go through some of them right now and let's see how it goes. Total cholesterol, we'll start there. Now, that's a number they usually want you to have a total cholesterol value underneath 200. Mine was 232. So it was elevated or slightly higher, abnormal high, or whatever you want to call it, but it was a number that they wanted you to be underneath. Medication dropped me down about 40 points. Now I'm in range. It's 189. It's on the high part of the range, but it's in the safety zone. So I've, through medication, fixed that problem. Triglycerides. This is another one, excuse me, that they talk about that will really affect you negatively if your numbers are pretty high. And my number originally was really high. Really high. They want you to be under 150 as the measurement. This is like milligrams per deciliter or something like that, which is, I couldn't even visualize that. But in any event, they want you under 150. My number was almost like 510. It's like 507 to be exact. So now, over 3 months of medication, it's dropped dramatically, almost 300 points, down to 190. So this is definitely going in the right direction. It's still elevated though, because I'm 190 versus 150. I got a little room to make up. But the internal blood work is now working more effectively, more efficiently. So, very happy to see that. Then they have different forms of cholesterol they like to break out. They call it the HDLs, which are the healthy ones, the LDLs, which are the bad ones, and then it's VLDL, which is kind of like a, no one really talks about it because it might not be as important, but those numbers have gone their own direction as well. So HDLs are the kind of thing that you can only increase your healthy cholesterol through like activity. You can't take a supplement, you can't take medication to assist you in getting a better HDL valuation. Well, I think I'll be able to do something because I actually increased from a 30 to a 36. 40 is the magic number to get to. So I'm surprised it actually even went up the 6 it did. Because that means you really have done things that have assisted. So I'm trending in the right direction here as well. Not fully there, but getting there. LDLs, again, they call it the bad cholesterol. My number really hadn't changed too much. They want you underneath 100. I was at 113. Now I'm at 115. Slight increase up. Not really sure how that happened when everything else went in the better direction. But it is what it is right now. I just have to kind of look at it. That might be one of those things where you just kind of keep off bacon, keep off alcohol, whatever else, and that might do something. That VDL or VLDL, that last number, they don't really concentrate too much on. However, they do measure it. I think it's measured as a calculation. That's also a number that's increased, improved, I think is a better word. I had about 90. They want me less than 40, and I'm now at 38. So, like the cholesterol valuation, I am now in the range. Now, the VLDL, I looked into it trying to figure out what is it anyway. I think it measures, if I have this website open right now, the mayoclinic.org is talking about that. It measures how the plaque might build on your arterial walls. And the more plaque that enters into your veins and your arteries, it just kind of gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and the blood flow through it won't be as effective, as fast, or as full as it needs to be. That's the kind of thing where if the blood's going through and you have a lot of plaque on your arterial walls, that you just start getting heart attacks and such. And they go in and they try to get that little thing where they go through your vein and kind of like scrape it off with this micro needle or whatever. But my numbers improved. So hopefully, I mean, I don't know how much plaque might be in my arteries already, but this may assist in not getting any more. Those are the main numbers. So overall, my total cholesterol is now within range. That VLDL number got in range. I'm a lot closer to being where I need to be on the triglycerides and the HDL. Got to work on everything else. The bottom line appears to be I need to exercise. Because the exercise, besides being something that gets your lungs to be more efficient, that raises your temperature enough that you can sweat and you'll sweat out and burn some fat and do everything else you have to do, but it will actually internally help your organs, help your blood. It'll work more actively and just flush things out that don't need to be where it is. So that's the good news. The bad news is, and I kind of touched on this already, is due to the fact that my number hasn't really changed as far as on the scale. I dipped into those 250s for a moment. I think this morning I was 262.7 is my number. So I have like just about 3 pounds that has been gained in the last month or so. This is mindset. This is a matter of making sure I stay on track. I got my little plans that are printed out of how I'm going to get to where I have to get to. But the two things I do need to do, as always, is watch the intake and definitely stop snacking. And if I'm going to snack, make it an apple. Make it a little bit of parsley, make it a banana, make it something. Hopefully that's less sugar on the fruit and vegetable side of the fence, but is not a carb, a sugar, or alcohol, or something else that's going to get me into the negative zone. And number two is certainly going to be getting more active. Getting this body moving, finding ways to find time to walk on a treadmill or use an elliptical or walk around the block. Do something. Even if it's one of those things where, like, the night's over, you've had dinner, kids are asleep, maybe the wife and I will sit down and watch an episode of something before bed. Maybe do some floor exercises. Something simple. Stretching. Not quite yoga, but you can do little things like that while you're just sitting around watching TV. Because at the end of the night, you kind of do want to just let the idiot box wash over you and get yourself into a nice area, you just fall asleep. It'll help you just forget your day, depending on what kind of day you had. But in the meantime, find those moments to be active. That's what I have to concentrate on. I think what I'm probably going to do is we give my son temporary tattoos as a reward for doing behaviors that we would want him to have. I might have to borrow one or two of those. Maybe I'll stick it on my arm somewhere as just a visual reminder. I'll look at that and say, okay, that's right. Stay on track. I think one of the things he has might be Mario Brothers. He might have a Yoshi in there. Yoshi's character in Mario pretty much swallows a bunch of things. He'll eat the enemies, and that's how he wins. Well, he's an eater. Maybe I'll do that. I'll find a Yoshi and do a temporary tattoo on my wrist or my arm, and that's going to be my reminder. Simple little things. Things to remind me to stay the course. That's what I have to work on. Well, I do hope I work on it. And I'll definitely come back to you and let you know if I failed in what I tried to do or if I succeeded. And maybe my success, I can give you some motivation as well. Otherwise, thank you for taking the time and listening. Hopefully I'll hear from you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. Bye-bye.